Hey guys, let's talk about how to improve your small business efficiency. So if you're a small business owner and you want to streamline processes, then keep watching because we're going to share with you a simple 5-step system to help you improve your efficiency.
Plus, we're going to walk you through a real-life example of how we applied these 5 steps to revamp our sales process and help us scale our business.
This process is going to help you increase your capacity without having to hire more people. So you're going to be able to save time, you're going to be able to save money, and you're going to feel a whole lot better because things will run much smoother and it'll be less stressful for you.
And this works whether you're a solopreneur or you have a team, and you can do this in person or remotely.
So grab yourself a coffee, grab a snack, and let's get into it.
I'm Mike, and welcome back to our channel where we share tactical tips that are going to help you level up your small business. So if that sounds like something you want to do, take your business to the next level, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos.
Hey guys, I'm Christy, and today we're going to help you improve your small business efficiency. Now, as a small business owner, you probably want to be more efficient. You want to get more bang for your buck in terms of your time and your employee. You have a limited amount of resources and you want to really increase capacity, but maybe you're struggling with how to actually go about doing that. And that's what we're going to help you with today.
You're right, Christy. We are here to help. We've learned lessons in this area because we've been there. When we started our business, we were just hustling, constantly trying to figure out what's going to work and what's not, trying to figure out what is going to build traction and help us move that business forward. And it was so easy to fall into patterns and habits just because we were so focused on moving things forward. It was really hard to take a step back and evaluate if the things that we're doing are being done in the most effective ways, or if there isn't some other approach that we could take that would drive up our efficiencies. And this is completely normal. So if you're struggling with this, you're in good company because we've all been there before. Every business owner that's had to get their business going has had to step back and figure out how they're going to improve efficiency moving forward. So we're really happy to see you here at this video because this means that you want to take deliberate steps at improving your business. And that's exactly what you have to do. Once you start building that traction, it's now how do you get more efficient with the things that are working. So we have this simple 5-step system that's going to help you walk through your processes and figure out how to improve them. Christy, how does someone get started with this system?
The first step is to pick one process to improve. And I say that because it's very easy to fall into the trap of trying to pick multiple processes at a time and improve them. This doesn't work. You end up feeling overwhelmed, it gets chaotic, you don't really make much impact, and it just ends up being a mess. Trust us, we've learned from experience, do not make this mistake. So I'll say it again, pick one process. And the trick is to get into the mindset of constant improvement and iteration over time. And that's when you start to see the payoff, because this doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and effort, but if you stay focused on improving this one process and apply this 5-step system, you will see improvement and it will have a big impact. So enough talking about it. You have your one process. Let's jump into how to do it.
Step 1 is to map it out. And now you've taken Christy's advice, right? You've picked just one process to get started with. Okay, good. Let's take that process now and start mapping it out. From the very beginning to the very end, you want to start documenting every step along the way. You want to unearth every detail possible about this process. You want every step, every sub-step, everything that you can possibly think of that goes along with this process, because you can't improve anything if you don't fully understand it. So getting this completely mapped out is critical. When we're able to go into the office and do this face-to-face, we love using post-it notes. We're very visual and we like being able to see this process completely mapped out on a board on all these different post-it notes, which comes in very handy for a future step, by the way, but we'll get into that in a bit. You can also do this remotely, and we have done that as well. We get on a Zoom call and we use a tool like a spreadsheet, or maybe we use a diagramming tool like Lucidchart, and we start mapping out the process in a way that everybody can see and collaborate. And I say everybody because it's really important that you include everybody that this process impacts, right? Anybody that works with the process or delivers part of the process, you want to get their input because they may be doing things or have context around certain steps or parts of the process that you're not fully aware of. And if you don't get all that stuff documented, the next steps coming up are going to be a lot more challenging. So make sure you involve the team so that you can get this completely mapped out. Involving the entire team has another side benefit, and that's getting buy-in and changing this process. But we'll get into that in a future step.
So to do this, let's talk through how we did this exercise with our customer journey process. So it starts with the big steps. Someone gets to the website, they sign up for a trial, they have a demo, there's some follow-up, and then hopefully by the end, they subscribe to our software. And by involving everybody in this process doing this exercise, we started to map out all the itty-bitty steps between these kind of major steps. And doing this helps you get a full realistic scope of just how complex this process actually is, when from a high level, it may seem quite simple. So you end up with a wall full of post-it notes that has the full process. And when you can't think of any additional steps that are involved, you know you're ready to go to step 2.
Step 2 is to pinpoint the problems, and step 1 was pretty tough, right? Pretty mentally taxing to have to go through that much detail about a process and document it all out. But all that pain is what sets you up for success as you get into step 2, because now we want to identify the problems in that process. You want to continue involving your team along the way here, because they often have the best insights because they're the closest to the process. You all want to start identifying the areas where there's bottlenecks or steps that take a lot of time, or maybe there's pieces to the process that are quite error prone and waste a lot of time downstream. So everybody should work together to start highlighting where they feel they need to improve the process. You want to, start using highlighters or changing colors in the diagram, maybe changing out different colors of post-it notes, and start to just analyze the process, and everybody should agree on where they can make improvements. So Christy, what were the main bottlenecks or choke points in our sales process?
For us, there were a couple of key bottlenecks in our process. The biggest one was a lot of emailing back and forth trying to set up a time for the demo. Then once on the demo, there was a lot of time spent digging into questions about the customer, their industry, what type of business they are, what they're looking to use the software for. So that took up a big chunk of time. Then a lot of back and forth again in the follow-up stage, trying to find out how to use these features. Reps were putting together a lot of time to create these custom emails, including screenshots and instructions of how to use it, answering questions about features. So that was another key area. So once you have these bottlenecks circled or highlighted in the process and everybody's aligned on what those biggest friction points are, then you're ready to go to step 3.
Step 3 is to create a new process. Are you still with us? You still watching and following along? Good, because this is the fun part. This is my favorite part of this whole system, because we're going to identify ways that we can improve moving forward. And we're in a really great spot to create this new process, because we've clearly mapped out the current process and how it works today, and where it struggles, where does it have problems, and where does it have inefficiencies. This is a really great time to remind everybody why this process exists in the first place, and what does success look like for this process. And we want to get that whole team together that helped us map this out and identify the problems, because they're going to have really great insights and ideas on how to make a new process even better. They're the ones that are closest to it. They use it day to day. So make sure you keep them involved. Having them involved is also really important, because it's going to help drive buy-in, right? These people are going to have to go through the change of using a new process, and they're going to be a lot more willing to adopt this new process if they helped create it in the first place. So it's really important to work as a team, collaborate, keep all of the lessons we've learned from the existing process in mind, and start hammering out a new process. A pro tip to keep in mind is that people's minds start to wander and have a hard time concentrating after about 90 minutes of working on a single task. So you may have to have several sessions to map out this new process. Work for 90 minutes and then take a break, walk away, let the mind refresh, and come back and continue working on it until you're really happy with the new process.
So for example, for us looking at our customer journey, success is someone getting from landing on our website all the way through to becoming a paid customer of our software with as little friction as possible. So what we did was we looked at these choke points and we came up with solutions to automate or kind of make some of these steps irrelevant. So we started doing things like using Acuity, so that way a customer could book a call with us instead of having to do this back and forth through email to find a time. We also then introduced a sign-up form on our website where you could ask a couple of questions up front, and that way our reps don't have to go through the process of asking these questions on the call, because they already come prepared to the call with that information ahead of time. So once you get people in a room and you identify the main problems, you'd be amazed at the ideas and solutions that people come up with to really automate things and streamline stuff, which makes it more efficient.
Step 4 is to document, and this is the easiest step in the entire system because you're just taking the process you defined in the previous step and documenting it down somewhere so it doesn't get forgotten. And this is really important to do whether it's just you who's going to be using this process or if you're going to be onboarding this process into a team, because you want to make sure that everybody understands how the new process works. It's kind of like a contract in a way. You're writing this down, everyone's getting aligned around it, and it's a great tool to use if anybody starts slipping and falling back to the old process. You can pull this out and remind everybody that this is what we agreed to do and let's follow the new process.
And very important that when you're documenting this process, you want to make sure that this document is shared with your team. So for example, it could be something as simple as a shared pages document where you have the steps written out. We use Confluence for documenting all of our internal processes. And if it's something like a sales process or a project process, we plug these into Daylight so that way we have a checklist that makes it really easy to follow. So whatever you use, just make sure that it's shared.
Step number 5 is to test and tweak. It is so easy to come up with a great new process, get really excited about it, roll it out, and then forget to follow up to see if it's actually working as expected. This happens all the time. Things don't actually pan out as we expect when we're drawing this out on the whiteboard or working with post-it notes. There are other complexities that might come up because of this new process. So it's really important that we circle back and check in with ourselves or the team to make sure that it is hitting the mark. You know, we've fallen into this trap in the past. Don't follow in our footsteps. Make sure that you circle back and evaluate the effectiveness of this new process. One of the tricks that we use to make sure that we actually do this is that we set a reminder in Daylight. Depending on the process, we want to be reminded every 2 weeks or maybe a month to circle back and actually ask the question, is this working?
For example, when we rolled out this new process with our team, shocking, we found some issues with it that we had to improve. So things like some technical issues with Acuity that had to be tweaked, things like the questions that were worded on this online form didn't really get the type of answers that were very useful or that we needed for these demos. So we had to go back and tweak the wording of these questions a few times. But by being very focused on constantly asking what's not working, are there new bottlenecks, what needs to improve, it allowed us to constantly iterate and improve so that we ended up with a much smoother, more efficient process.
Congratulations! This is a really exciting time in your company's life if you're ready to start working on efficiencies. But keep in mind, like everything else you've done in your business so far, this is going to be challenging, but it's going to be worthwhile. So stick with it. Figure this out and the payoff will be amazing for your business. That's our 5-step system for improving your efficiency. Thank you so much for watching the video today. We hope that you enjoyed it. If you did find it helpful, please give it a thumbs up down below. And if you want more tips to help you level up your small business, subscribe to our channel and hit that little notification bell so you never miss a future video. And let us know in the comments down below, what business processes are you trying to improve?
If you need some help mapping out your sales process, check out our other video, the 5-step sales process. We'll include a link right up here. And if you need a tool to help you manage your clients, deals, and projects all in one place, check out Daylight. We'll include a link below where you can start your own free trial. And if you want more tips for small business, make sure you hit us up on all the social channels.